Hey guys, what's up? Rain here. Gonna be doing a quick guide to the Warlock class. Gonna hop into the perks and skills, and then we'll cover spells, gear, and as well as playstyle here. So to start off, the first perk that you're gonna want to take is the Torture Mastery perk. This allows your Curse of Pain to restore 1 health to the caster with each instance of damage dealt. Now, when it says each instance of damage dealt, this is where a lot of people get confused. It is any damage dealt, but it has to be magical damage. I've tested melee attacks with swords and things like that. Those do not proc the damage dealt heal, but what does proc it is casting your Curse of Pain. So every time the dot ticks with Curse of Pain here, or casting the Power of Sacrifice dot on the target, and every time that ticks, so either one of those being on the target, anytime your Hellfire does damage, that will also cause you to heal 1 health, as well as, if we come back over here, the Blow of Corruption. This increases your next physical attack and makes it deal 20 magical damage to the target and reduces their healing rate by 70% for 12 seconds. Whenever this, when you hit somebody with this, it will also proc the heal. So there's a ton of ways that you can get the heal to activate, and so basically any way that you can inflict magic damage will cause you to heal 1 health. Now, the reason this class is so insane right now, and it's actually super strong, a lot of people think that this class is weak, and it's so far from not weak, is because it restores a flat 1 health whenever you deal damage, magic damage. That's what it should really say in the tooltip. If we come over here to our gear, if you can get any item that has magical healing, that will increase. So if you, let's say you have +1 magical healing, you're now going to heal 2 health every time you do any amount of magic damage. And for instance, the spellbook is now +3 magical healing, so I'm healing 4 HP every single time I deal any magical damage. So I can have 2 dots ticking on a target. I can then swing my magical sword or hit something with a Hellfire, and I'm going to be healing like 12 to 16 health every single time it ticks. In the gameplay video, I'll show you exactly how this is working, but that is why this class is insanely strong, especially if you can buy some magical healing gear. Moving along, the second perk that I would take is Dark Reflection. If you take damage while Dark Reflection is not on cooldown, you reflect 10 dark magic damage to the attacker. This is just good. This will also proc your heal because it is magic damage, and it'll just constantly be there to help you clear things. Moving along, we have Malice. Will is increased by 10%. This will just make your dots last a little bit longer and do a little bit more damage over time. That's what Will does for you. And then the last one that I take is Immortal Lament, which makes it so you can cast spells below 1 HP. So this is, it's okay. There isn't really another better spell instead, but if you end up in a situation where you have really low health and no potions or something to take, you can still cast your spells and heal without worrying about actually killing yourself with the spell, which without this perk you can do. The other ones up here, Anti-Magic is okay. It's a 15% increase to magic, except against divine magic. And so it's actually not really effective against clerics whatsoever. And then it'll help you a little bit with mages. Dark Enchantment applies to dark spells, and the only dark damage that you do right now is actually from Dark Reflection. So if you take this perk, your Reflection will do 11 damage instead of 10. So it's a 1 damage increase for Reflection, and in my opinion, it's just not worth taking until we get new spells here that are in the dark magic category. And then finally, we have Soul Collector, which is bugged right now. As far as I'm aware, all my testing and everyone else's testing that I've talked to, Soul Collector doesn't do anything currently, but as well as it only increases dark magic damage, and so it's possible that maybe it would help with Dark Reflection, but I don't think it will. There's not a dark spell for it to buff right now, so it's useless as far as the game goes currently. So this is what I would take. You do have the option of taking Phantomize. This is more of a noob-friendly approach. It makes you incorporeal and allows you to move through units and things to escape. I think it's pretty meh. It can be useful if you're really bad at positioning, but almost all the time you're going to want the Blow of Corruption. The Blow of Corruption is really good. It deals 20 additional magic damage, but it also is affected by your headshot multiplier. So if you pop Blow of Corruption and you hit someone in the head, it'll actually do like 36 damage instead of 20. As well as it reduces their healing rate by 70% for 12 seconds. So if I'm using a Falchion and I hit someone for 34 damage with the Falchion and I pop Blow of Corruption and I hit him in the head, I'm going to do like 70 damage in one swing, and they won't be able to heal. So if the fighter pops his second wind, or a cleric is trying to heal themselves, all their healing is reduced by 70% for 12 seconds. So it's super strong, and I highly recommend taking Blow of Corruption. That is it for the perks and skills here. We're going to go into spells. So we've got Power of Sacrifice, which curses the target with sacrifice, losing 3 health per second, but increasing their strength by 15 over 12 seconds. So I find that putting this on enemies is more useful than putting it on myself unless I have a ton of healing. But if I have a ton of healing, then I can dot myself with this and then swing with an extra, like, I think it's about 12 damage increase on your melee attack. So if I have a Falchion, I can go from 34 to like 46 damage on my swing, plus I pop Blow of Corruption, I hit a headshot, all of a sudden you're like one-tapping people with that. So that is an option if you have enough healing. Otherwise, I find it more useful for just healing off enemies as well as putting it on enemies and then kiting them. Moving along, we have Curse of Weakness. This weakens the target for 10 seconds and it reduces their base stats by 20%. Most of the time, this isn't useful. I wouldn't really use it in PvE whatsoever. And in PvP, the niche scenario that I found it to be useful in is because it reduces their stats by 20%. When you put it on a wizard or on a cleric, they actually lose access to some of their spells because they won't have enough memory anymore because of the knowledge loss. So it's really annoying. The cleric won't be able to use heals sometimes, he won't be able to use shields, all of his buffs will be disabled for the 10 seconds, things like that. So if you can land that at the start, it can be decent, but often you're going to just want the damage anyways. And then we have Curse of Pain, which instantly deals 10 damage to the target and curses them with Agony. And then Agony causes another 10 damage to be distributed over 8 seconds. And so this is also the ability that you want to cast in order to get access to your Torture Mastery. So you need Curse of Pain to be up and running in order for you to start healing from your other spells. So I find the best way to utilize this is to cast Power of Sacrifice because it lasts for 12 seconds, and then hit them with the Curse of Pain, which lasts for another 8 seconds. And this way you get a full heal out of both the Power of Sacrifice and the Curse of Pain, whereas if you do it in reverse, you won't have 2 dots ticking for the whole duration of the Curse of Pain. And then we have Hellfire finally, which is pretty awesome. It's a very, very slow moving projectile, but it goes through walls, it goes through doors, and it does a ton of damage if anyone stands in it. So you can launch it at people, you can use it to kind of zone people out and force people to move. It's much more effective for PvE than it is PvP. Most of the time, your bread and butter is just going to be maintaining your health here and trying to hit Curses of Pain and Powers of Sacrifice on people, and then eventually going in for killing blows with your Blow of Corruption right here. And that is it for the spells for the Warlock. Pretty simple, as this class is still work in progress. There's not a ton of options here. So let's move into our items. Stat priority. So the most important is going to be knowledge. This increases your spell casting speed, which makes it way easier for you to get dots up in PvP fights. When it takes a really long time and you have to slow down a ton, you can get jumped, you can get hit in the face, people get on top of you. It's really bad. So I find that knowledge is actually the most useful stat when playing Warlock, followed by strength, which is going to increase your HP, it's going to increase your physical power, you're going to hit harder, you're going to be way tankier, and you're going to give yourself more time to heal from your dots once you've got them rolling, because you're not going to die in quite as little hits. And then the last stat priority, if you can get it, is will. This is just going to make your dots last a little bit longer, you're going to heal more, they're going to do a little bit more damage. And so that is the stat priority in order. So number 1, knowledge, number 2, strength, number 3, will. Item wise, magical healing is going to be your best stat, period. If you can get something with magical healing, I would say there does become a point where you kind of have diminishing returns. I would say around 5 magical healing is where I stop bringing more magical healing gear in, and I'm going more for knowledge and strength. But up until 5, you can gain a lot of healing every single tick just by increasing that. Even just having 1 extra magical healing actually doubles the healing rate of your entire class. And this is kind of an exponential graph where the more magical healing you get, the less effective it ends up being. And so you want a few of them, and then you want to start dropping it and picking up knowledge and strength. So on your spellbook or whatever, get some magical healing or any of these other items, and then after that you're going for knowledge. So padded leggings are going to be best in slot if you can get knowledge on them. There's a guaranteed 1 knowledge 1 will. For gloves, you're going to want rawhide gloves. We'll see if there's some in here. You can actually buy them in here pretty often. I don't have any right now, but you can buy the gray ones in here that will have 1 knowledge 1 will. So those are best in slot for us here. Chest piece, I believe it's the oracle robe that has the knowledge on it. I don't have one in here, but there's a chest piece in here that has a guaranteed 1 knowledge. For the helmet, I think the leather cap is probably the most effective. The other options are the shadow mask and the rogue cowl thing, shadow cowl or whatever. Those have all attributes, and those are also very good for your helmet. So I think the leather cap is going to have the best headshot damage reduction at 7% versus the 5%. However, if you can get the all attributes, I would get the all attributes gear. I think falchion is probably the best weapon that you can bring in. Another alternative is the longsword and I believe the halberd. If we go to the weaponsmith, yes. So we have longswords, halberds, and falchions. Those are all viable, whichever one you prefer. Don't take White-handers. They're way harder to use, and they'll probably just get you killed more often than not. Chest pieces, I actually really like Regal Gambison because of how much armor you get for the move speed penalty. You're way tankier with it on, and if you can find one that has knowledge on it, that's going to be best for you. And then rings, again, we want strength or knowledge. So either these rings of courage or rings of resolve or stuff like that. And then we also have necklaces of peace with some more knowledge. You can also build for true magical damage or additional magic damage to make your dots do a little bit more damage. However, I don't find them to be that ideal. This class is less reliant on doing damage with dots and much more reliant on healing off of that. And so the knowledge is really just helping you keep your heals going while you go in and hit with the sword and things like that, right? You get just a little bit of damage with the dots, and then you can start going crazy with the melee weapons. And I think that is everything for my Warlock guide. We will hop into some gameplay and I will show you how the different spells work and how to play out a match. So I'll see you guys in there. Alrighty, we are here in game on the Goblin Caves. Gonna do a solo run, show you how to play this class, how to heal, all of that kind of stuff. I will say I've downgraded my gear from what you were seeing. Right now, we do have a magical healing wizard hat, but that is the only magical healing that I'm running. I just have a gray spellbook here and some knowledge will rawhide gloves. So this is a very typical setup to what I would expect someone fairly early on in the class to be running. So we're gonna clear some pots here. And then what we're gonna do, I'm gonna aggro one of these guys. There we go. I'm gonna intentionally take some damage here, just so I can show the healing. So now to heal, we're gonna wanna cast Power of Sacrifice, and then Curse of Pain. And now just watch our health bar here. Now we can pull out the magic sword. Now this does some magical damage when we hit, so you'll also see we heal when we hit with the sword. And now that our dots are off, we will no longer be healing. But that is how you'll want to heal on a Warlock. We did get a falchion, which is definitely better than the sword, but I do like the healing from this. We're going to go falchion now. So we can come over here, we can do the same thing. Power of Sacrifice for the max heal. And then Curse of Pain with the attack. And we're already back to full health. And all we have is that +1 magical healing. We do have a Shadow Mask. Come over here, do the same thing. Power of Sacrifice. Curse of Pain. And if you want to, you can weakness them. It's going to reduce their HP by 20%. We can just hit them a couple times and we're good to go. And you'll see that we're still at full HP despite casting a bunch of spells that cost health. Another falchion. It's a good backup. Now we can use Hellfire to clear this pack here. So we're just going to line it up. I'm going to cast 3 of these. And then to heal up, once again, we're just going to do that. And then do that, and watch our health bar just fly up at this point. And we're already back to full HP again. Once again, Power of Sacrifice, Curse of Weakness. That guy's dead. Finish this guy off. This class I think is pretty strong for PvE just from the healing. Plus the AoE clear that you can get with the Hellfire is really strong. I'm hearing a player behind me. I think they're below me. So we can check. Let's drop down here. I'm getting some weird audio. Bait. Schmack. I think there's a skeleton champion right on the other side of this wall, is what I'm hearing. Back up. You're very much a melee wizard. Like don't play this like you're ranged. You're definitely more of a melee class. Your spells are shorter ranged, as well as you do a lot of damage. You've got pretty high base strength compared to like a wizard that has like 5. And you have access to a lot better weapons like the Falchion. So let's keep moving the zone over here. So that is pretty much the process. What you're going to want to do when you're fighting in PvP, hopefully we'll get into an encounter here. But you'll be casting Power of Sacrifice on the target and then Curse of Pain. And then until Power of Sacrifice wears off, you'll want to just keep hitting him with Curse of Pains because that'll do 10 damage. There's a ranger actually across from us. Bait. Come back. We're going to try and make sure we stay out of line of sight of the ranger. Okay. So we're going to get a Power of Sacrifice ready. He's too far for us, so we're going to try and come in. He's triple shotting. We're going to let that go. The benefit of Power of Sacrifice is there's no travel time on it. We'll do that and that. Now that we've got both, we'll just keep dodging. I'm going to try and close the distance here. Sidestep. And we just one-tapped him with Blow of Corruption. Huge amount of damage. Got some decent stuff here. Surgical kit. Not really useful for us, but maybe we can sell it. Grab this. We're hearing a bard. There's another warlock over there. We do want to heal. You can actually heal infinitely off of spiders if they're around. We're going to get ready here. We'll dot this guy up. He's trying to Hellfire me, which is just so bad in PvP. We're just going to blow a corruption him. And he's dead. Don't use Hellfire in PvP. Unless you're trying to just cheese someone through a wall, not useful. You'll just get ran down just like that. We're back to full HP still. This class has the ability to just roll the entire lobby. You'll be full HP pretty much every time you go to fight somebody. It feels really good. Again, we're going to come over here. That guy's going to leave. You can bait these skeletons over the trap. Blow of Corruption comes back pretty quickly. It's only a 15-second cooldown. So don't be too afraid to use it when you're clearing mobs. Got some Occultist boots. It's a little bit faster move speed, I think. Although the white ones of these are better. We can get our portal open. And that's a pretty good rundown on how I would play Lock in these games. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.